Everything changes the instant you notice yourself noticing. It happens in a fraction of a second, that eerie stillness when the noise of thought folds into silence, and for the first time, you realize the world isn't happening to you, it's answering you. The air feels heavier, the light sharper, time slower. Something subtle but irreversible begins. Reality tilts, just enough for you to feel that what you once called fate might actually be feedback. Until that moment, life feels mechanical. You repeat patterns, make plans, chase goals, but beneath it all, a quiet question hums. Why does it always come back to the same place? You work harder, speak louder, visualize more vividly, yet the cycle persists. It's like running on a treadmill disguised as progress. And then it hits. Maybe the treadmill isn't broken. Maybe it's mirroring your own motion. Most never see it. They live as if trapped behind glass, pushing against the surface of reality without realizing their hands are pressing from both sides. Every effort to force the world bends it just enough to push back. Every anxious thought becomes static in the signal. It's like trying to tune a radio with trembling fingers. The harder you twist, the louder the distortion becomes. But here's the paradox. The moment you stop fighting, everything starts aligning. The field, invisible yet responsive, begins to rearrange itself in ways your logic can't predict. The people, the timing, the coincidences, they all start to move as if guided by something that knows exactly where you should be. The question isn't how it works. The question is, what happens when you finally stop trying to control the reflection and start observing it? Imagine standing in front of a mirror that doesn't reflect your body, but your vibration. Every fear creates fog on the surface. Every breath of awareness clears it. The image you see isn't an illusion. It's your signal made visible. Each emotion ripples through that field like sound through water, reshaping everything it touches. The universe isn't testing you. It's translating you. And once you see that, really see it, the illusion of separation collapses. The world doesn't happen out there anymore. It folds inward, responding to every movement of your attention. You don't command it. You tune it. The shift doesn't thunder in, it whispers. It waits for the exact moment your awareness becomes still enough to hear. That's where it begins, in the breath between cause and effect, in the heartbeat that pauses long enough for the universe to listen back. Something immense is about to unfold, and it starts the moment you realize, the observer is not watching reality, the observer is writing it. Once you realize that reality is not something you enter, but something you emit, a strange kind of silence follows. It's not the absence of sound. It's the awareness that everything you do echoes through a space that's been listening all along. The field doesn't argue or judge. It mirrors. Every thought, every reaction, every small moment of fear or clarity becomes a signal that returns multiplied. And suddenly, life stops feeling random. The chaos starts to look like choreography. You can sense it in the smallest things. The way someone's mood changes the moment you soften your tone. The way a day unfolds differently when you wake with gratitude instead of anxiety. These aren't coincidences, they're calibrations. Life rearranges itself according to the frequency you carry, like iron dust drawn to a magnet you didn't know you were holding. The secret is that the magnet isn't in your mind. It's in your awareness. The danger lies in forgetting that connection. When you rush, when you fight, when you repeat the same thought until it becomes noise, the signal blurs. The reflection becomes distorted. You find yourself surrounded by the same patterns, conversations that drain you, opportunities that slip away, cycles that look new but feel old. You think life is repeating, but in truth, it's reflecting. It's handing you your own vibration back so you can finally see it. This is where it becomes intimate, almost uncomfortable. Because to see clearly, you have to stop blaming the mirror. You have to look without defense, without trying to correct or justify. That's when the shift begins. The mind slows down, the breath evens out, and something inside whispers, "This was never outside of me." It's both liberating and terrifying to know that the same awareness capable of creating storms is also the one that can bring calm. The ones who understand this rarely turn away again. They stay, they watch, they practice being the still point amid the movement. They sense how even their smallest intention adjusts the field around them. Maybe that's why so many choose to remain close, following each new revelation like a thread that leads deeper inward, not out of curiosity, but recognition. Because once the pattern starts to unfold, you can't help but keep watching. And yet, the question lingers. If the observer truly shapes what is seen, what happens when awareness turns fully toward itself, when the mirror reflects the one who's looking? Something extraordinary is waiting in that moment, suspended between seeing and being seen. There's a moment, quiet but piercing, when the realization turns against you. You start to see that every reflection you once called bad luck, every rejection, every silence, every delay was never punishment, it was resonance. Reality wasn't cruel, it was precise. It showed you exactly what you were transmitting. The weight of that understanding lands slowly, like snow on branches, soft, but heavy enough to bend everything you thought you knew about control. You begin to notice how the smallest thought shifts the air around you. A flash of doubt tightens the chest. A spark of trust opens it. The world answers with eerie accuracy. It's unsettling to know that the same space that gives life to your dreams also holds the shadows of your fears. The field doesn't discriminate, it only amplifies. Hope and anxiety carry equal volume. Which one you feed determines which reflection becomes solid. This is where the real conflict begins. You want to change the signal, but you can't fake coherence. You can't smile through fear and expect the mirror to believe you. The body knows the truth long before the mind does. The tremor in the hands, the shallow breath, the pulse that betrays the story you tell yourself. You realize the hardest part isn't creating what you want. It's stopping the vibration of what you don't. Imagine standing in a vast hall of mirrors. Each surface shows a slightly different version of you. Some hopeful, some exhausted, some untouched by fear. As you move, they move. When you pause, they pause. You want to reach for the brightest one, the image that feels closest to peace, but your touch only multiplies the reflections. The hall stretches endlessly. You're not trapped, but you are surrounded by evidence that nothing changes until you do. The contrast grows sharper the more aware you become. There's light flickering through the cracks, yet the shadows grow bolder around it. You start to understand that growth doesn't mean escaping the dark, but seeing through it. The silence that once comforted now hums with intensity, like a storm gathering on the edge of perception. Something inside you knows that you can't go back to the comfort of ignorance. And still, the air thickens with anticipation. The mirror trembles as if waiting for the next command, but none comes. You stand between stillness and movement, between creation and collapse, and realize the next shift won't come from thought at all. It will come from something deeper, something older, a truth that's been waiting beneath the noise for you to finally hear it. And then something soft begins to happen beneath the weight of that realization. The pressure that once felt unbearable turns almost tender, like the warmth that follows a long storm. You start to sense that maybe the struggle was never about controlling the reflection, but about learning how to stay present while it changes. The field doesn't ask for perfection, it asks for honesty. It doesn't need you to be unshaken, only aware. You catch yourself in small moments, the breath before you speak, the hesitation before you react. That instant becomes a window. Inside it, a choice appears, to repeat the old pattern or to let it dissolve. It's strange how quiet the decision feels. No fireworks, no thunderclap, just a subtle alignment that shifts everything downstream. The current of life, once chaotic, begins to soften around you, matching your stillness. In those spaces, you start to recognize beauty where before there was only tension. The same silence that once felt heavy now hums with clarity. A conversation that used to drain you suddenly feels lighter because you're not trying to win it. Even pain, when looked at without resistance, starts to change shape. It stops being an enemy and becomes a message. You see it flicker like light through leaves, painful but alive. That's the quiet miracle of awareness. It doesn't erase the darkness, it gives it meaning. The ache in your chest, the uncertainty in your path, the restlessness of wanting more, all of it becomes a kind of compass. Each discomfort points to a misalignment ready to be released. Each wave of fear marks the edge of expansion. There's a gentle truth hiding here. You were never meant to escape contrast, only to master it. It's in moments like this that many feel compelled to leave a trace, a silent acknowledgement that something in them recognized this movement. It's not a declaration, not even a thought, just a quiet sign that says, "I felt this too." Maybe that's why people linger here, listening, reading, breathing. Because somewhere beneath the surface, they know this isn't just an idea. It's a memory of something the heart has always known. And still, the story doesn't close. The air feels charged again, like a pause before revelation. You sense that another layer is about to unfold, something deeper than thought, as if reality itself were inhaling, waiting for you to exhale back. There's a moment when awareness deepens so much it almost hurts. The air feels thicker, as if every breath is carrying something unseen. You realize that the quiet you've been cultivating isn't empty, it's full of movement. Thoughts, sensations, fragments of memory drift through like clouds, and you start to see the hidden rhythm behind them. Every rise and fall, every expansion and contraction, mirrors the same pattern that governs the tides, the seasons, even your heartbeat. Nothing stands still. Nothing ever did. And yet, this understanding doesn't bring comfort right away. It's disorienting to see how everything you once called stable was only balance in motion. Relationships shift, goals dissolve, the version of yourself you were clinging to begins to fade. There's grief in that, the quiet kind that doesn't announce itself. You watch the old forms of your life dissolve, not with violence, but with a strange gentleness of something completing its purpose. You don't lose them, they release you. The contrast is sharp. Hope and fear weave together in a single thread. There are moments of pure light, when the heart opens wide and you feel connected to everything, followed by sudden plunges into doubt, where the same openness feels too vast to bear. You stand at the threshold of something immense, caught between the relief of surrender and the instinct to retreat. The unknown has a gravity that pulls and resists at the same time. Images start to bloom in your mind, uninvited but meaningful. You see yourself walking through a forest at dusk, branches whispering, ground soft beneath your feet. The path disappears and reappears with the rhythm of your breath. The fear of getting lost and the wonder of discovering new ground coexist in the same step. Every sound feels amplified, the pulse in your ears, the rustle of leaves, the silence waiting between them. You start to realize that maybe the forest was never outside. Maybe you've been walking through your own awareness all along. The more you see, the quieter you become. The old urge to fix or define gives way to something simpler: listening. The silence that once seemed indifferent now feels alive, responsive, almost intimate. There's a pulse beneath it, a sense that something vast is breathing with you, through you. The edges between observer and observed start to blur. And then it happens, that subtle tremor in the fabric of perception, as if reality itself is inhaling. You don't know what will come next, but you can feel it gathering. The light shifts, the air hums, and for one suspended instant, you understand. Something is about to reveal itself, and it's been waiting for your stillness to appear. The stillness deepens until it feels almost sacred. Every sound becomes sharper, every movement deliberate, as if the world were holding its breath alongside you. What once seemed like silence now vibrates with layers of meaning, faint murmurs of life speaking in a language older than words. You begin to sense that everything you touch, everything you think, carries a pulse of consciousness, a quiet awareness woven through it all. And yet, this realization comes with weight. Because if everything is alive, then nothing you do is without consequence. You start noticing how the smallest actions ripple outward. A sigh changes the atmosphere of a room. A single kind word softens the hard edge of someone's day. Even your thoughts feel heavier, as if they land somewhere, shaping what will come next. The responsibility of awareness feels immense, like holding light in your hands and realizing it burns if you're careless. There's beauty in that vulnerability, but also a quiet fear. Can you hold this much power without breaking it? The contrast sharpens again, light and shadow interlaced, hope stretching its hand through the same doorway that fear guards. Every step forward feels both like a discovery and a loss. You see what's possible, but to reach it, something in you must dissolve. The cost is subtle but undeniable. The ego tightens, trying to hold shape, while the heart whispers, "Let go." That friction becomes the heat of transformation, the silent fire that burns away what no longer fits. Images unfold like memory. You see yourself standing at the edge of a wide ocean under a moonless sky. The water is calm, black glass reflecting nothing. It dares you to step in. The first touch is cold, almost shocking, but underneath it is warmth, like the pulse of the earth itself. The deeper you go, the quieter everything becomes. No resistance, no direction, just surrender. The fear of drowning turns slowly into a trust that the water knows how to hold you. In this suspension, something inside you loosens. The boundaries blur, between body and field, between doing and being. There's no clear line anymore, only a shimmering awareness where opposites dissolve into one another. You can feel the next moment forming, delicate and vast, waiting for your breath to bridge it into existence. But it doesn't arrive yet. It lingers just beyond reach, like dawn gathering behind the horizon, ready to rise when you finally open your eyes. The moment awareness crosses that invisible threshold, the external world starts to respond differently. You notice how situations that once felt random begin to arrange themselves with uncanny precision. People appear at the right time. Doors open quietly, without you forcing the handle. The invisible pattern you've been sensing now reveals itself through concrete events, as if life were waiting for you to become steady enough to handle its synchronicity. What looked like coincidence now feels deliberate, a dialogue between you and everything that exists. It's subtle, almost private. You send out a feeling, not a command, and reality answers with movements too precise to dismiss. A message from someone you thought was gone. A delay that saves you from being in the wrong place. A sudden thought that turns into an opportunity hours later. Each event carries the same fingerprint, not luck, but alignment. And yet, this power doesn't roar. It whispers. It asks for integrity. Because the more aware you become, the faster the field reflects what you emit. There's no hiding from your own frequency. That realization reshapes how you act. You begin to test the unseen laws with small, quiet experiments. A moment of gratitude before a decision, a pause before speaking, a single breath before reacting. The results come quickly, like ripples tightening around a stone dropped into still water. The difference between effort and presence becomes clear. When you push, things resist. When you align, they unfold. It's a strange relief, realizing that the path forward isn't built by struggle but by signal. Even so, it's not easy. The old habits still call you back. The urgency, the fear, the need to prove. Sometimes you fall into them again, only to feel the field harden instantly, mirroring the tension. But this, too, becomes a form of guidance. You begin to read reality like feedback instead of failure. Each distortion points to a place within you that's asking for coherence. Each repetition of conflict becomes a teacher, quietly showing you where the signal broke. And as you move through these reflections, something deeper starts to stir, a shared recognition that goes beyond words. It happens in quiet spaces, between those who feel this shift too. They sense the same subtle rhythm, the same hum beneath the surface of life. Some leave traces of it behind, thoughts, questions, single words that resonate in the silence that follows. It's almost instinctive, a need to mark the moment when understanding lands. Maybe that's why people comment when they feel this pulse, not to analyze it, but to say, "I felt it too." Still, the current builds. The reflection sharpens. It's as if reality itself is waiting for the next movement, the next breath that decides which version of the world will appear. The question hangs quietly in the air, not demanding, but patient. What will you choose to transmit next? The alignment that once felt effortless begins to test its own edges. The field, so responsive before, starts to challenge you, not through chaos, but through precision. It mirrors back the smallest traces of your doubt, the quiet hesitation between your intentions and your actions. It's as if reality, now attuned to your awareness, refuses to let you move unconsciously. Every deviation echoes louder. Every emotion carries consequence. You start to see how finely balanced the exchange has become. Each thought a brushstroke, each breath a signal painting the canvas of your experience. There are moments when it feels like walking on water. The surface holds, the rhythm flows, and you sense that everything is synchronized, effortless, almost divine. But then, a single ripple of fear, a flicker of impatience, and the balance trembles. The same surface that carried you begins to sink. It's humbling, this precision. The universe no longer behaves like a backdrop. It's an active collaborator, responding to the subtlest shifts in your vibration. You realize alignment isn't a destination but a dialogue, one that demands presence, humility, and truth. The contrast grows richer the deeper you move. Progress and setbacks start to blur into a single movement, like the tide advancing and retreating but always shaping the shore. You begin to understand that the pull backward is not failure but refinement, the way the ocean gathers power before another wave. Hope lives inside that rhythm, whispering that even the regressions are part of your unfolding. Still, the uncertainty tests you. The closer you come to coherence, the less tolerance there is for self-deception. The field sharpens your reflection until you can no longer hide behind what used to work. Images of this balance start to surface in the mind, a tightrope stretched across an endless horizon, your every step guided by breath alone, a candle burning steadily despite invisible wind, a heartbeat syncing with something far beyond your own pulse. These scenes are not symbols, they are sensations, reminders that mastery is not control but participation. You're not commanding the field, you're dancing with it. And yet, beneath the grace, there's pressure building, an invisible gravity drawing you toward a threshold you can't yet define. Something vast is preparing to unfold, as if the field itself were gathering to reveal a new level of dialogue. You can feel it in your bones, in the subtle hum that fills the silence after every realization. The question lingers, sharper now, alive with tension. If awareness can shape reality, what happens when awareness begins to reshape you? There comes a point where the line between creation and surrender begins to blur. You can feel it in the rhythm of your days. Moments of effortless flow suddenly giving way to stillness so deep it almost feels like being erased. The same awareness that once expanded now folds in on itself, asking not for mastery, but for trust. It's a strange paradox. The closer you move to coherence, the less control you seem to have. The field, which once echoed your every signal, now seems to wait, silent, as if testing whether your alignment can hold even when nothing answers back. You start to understand that this, too, is part of the dialogue. Reality isn't abandoning you, it's refining your frequency. The pauses are not absence, they are calibration. But the silence stretches longer than you expect, and in that space the old fears return. Doubt slips through the cracks like light under a closed door. You question everything, the signs, the timing, the process. Was it ever real, or was it all imagination? The mind, hungry for certainty, begins its quiet rebellion. And yet, beneath the noise, something softer endures, a pulse that never stopped beating, even when you couldn't feel it. Images flood the senses like memories from another lifetime. A candle flickers in an empty room, its flame trembling but unbroken. A horizon darkens before dawn, the air heavy with the weight of what's about to be born. You walk through these moments as if through dreams, half in shadow, half in light. Every step feels sacred and uncertain at once. The world mirrors this duality perfectly. Messages arrive disguised as silence, progress hides inside setbacks, and endings turn out to be disguised beginnings. You start to see that the real transformation isn't happening around you, it's happening within you. The field is no longer something you interact with, but something you are. The distinction between observer and observed begins to dissolve. You catch yourself moving differently, speaking slower, listening more deeply. Even your heartbeat feels like part of a larger rhythm you can't quite define. It's as if life itself were breathing through you, guiding you somewhere beyond comprehension. The light and the shadow now dance together, inseparable. Confidence wavers, then returns, then wavers again, each fluctuation carving depth into your perception. There's no solid ground, only a growing capacity to balance in the in-between. And as you hover there, between knowing and unknowing, expansion and collapse, you sense that the next revelation is near. It hums beneath the surface, waiting for one final exhale to cross from potential into form. And then, almost without warning, the shift happens. Not as a burst of light or a sudden revelation, but as a quiet unfolding, like dawn creeping over the edge of night. The boundaries that once defined you, your fears, your certainties, even your name, loosen, dissolve, and rearrange themselves into something new. You can feel it not in your thoughts, but in your breath. The air moves differently now, smoother, lighter, as if the world itself were exhaling with you. The field is no longer something outside waiting for your command. It's within you, around you, through you, answering before you even ask. You begin to see how every fragment of this journey was leading here. The struggle to understand, the silence that tested your faith, the darkness that felt endless, all of it was preparation. You weren't being kept from the truth. You were being shaped to receive it. Because this kind of knowing cannot be handed to you, it must be lived, embodied, breathed. The mirror you feared was never judging you, it was teaching you to see. The reflection was always waiting for your gaze to soften enough to recognize itself. Now, when you look at the world, you don't just see matter. You see movement, waves of intention, echoes of emotion, sparks of potential folding into form. Every glance becomes an act of creation. Every thought, a thread woven into reality's tapestry. You realize how powerful it is to be conscious, how delicate it is to exist with awareness. You feel gratitude rise, quiet but immense, for the privilege of knowing what most overlook, that you are not at the mercy of reality. You are participating in its design. And perhaps that's why, in moments like this, people feel the urge to leave something behind. A word, a trace, a sign that they too have touched this understanding. They write, they share, they connect, not to prove anything, but to affirm that they were here when the veil lifted, even for a moment. Maybe that's why so many stay close, breathing together through these reflections, choosing to mark this awareness with a gesture, a comment, a simple acknowledgement that says, "I felt it too." Because what you've just touched cannot be undone. Once awareness expands, it doesn't shrink back. Once you've seen the mechanism behind reality, the illusion of separation loses its power. You begin to live differently, slower, clearer, truer. The universe stops being a mystery to solve and becomes a rhythm to move with. And in that rhythm, creation is no longer something you chase. It's something you are. The silence returns, but it feels different now. Not empty, but full of meaning. You stand at the edge of this realization, steady and calm, knowing that nothing outside needs to change for everything inside to be new. The observer is awake, the mirror is clear, and the field responds with the quiet precision of truth. And as the breath leaves your body once more, you understand. This was never about learning how to create reality. It was about remembering that you always have.